Breaking news came down, so we have to discuss it. This is what we do here. We're talking about the Indiana Fever making yet another move, Alicia, because they're Thanos right now and they're collecting all the Infinity Stones.
Have you heard about the shocking WNBA revelation that has Asia Wilson fuming? Sydney Colson, Wilson's favorite teammate and right-hand lady, has completely upended the basketball world by abandoning the two-time champion Aces, the Indiana and Caitlin Clark.
Two-time WNBA champion Sydney Colson is officially signing a one-year deal with the Indiana Fever. So, the Fever just keep on doing what they've been doing. They're not playing no games in Indiana.
First of all, this WNBA free agency will not let us rest, number one. We literally cannot rest. But also, I love this move again. Like, Sydney Colson is a great player, but she's also a player that is going to add even more to what we're going to talk about later, and that's that chemistry of the team.
Yes, people, the Aces dynasty is in disarray, and the fans are going crazy. And guess what? Out of all the changes the Fever made this offseason, this one might be the one that pushes Indiana to the brink of championship glory. Are you prepared to watch how this plays out? Let's move.
You mean to tell me that two-time WNBA champion, the face of the God Dog League, okay? The Aces' main girl, right-hand man, Sydney Colson, is no longer returning to the Aces and is signing with the Indiana Fever? First of all, do the Fever even have any more roster spots open? How many folks are you guys going to sign?
Imagine this. Wilson, the self-declared Las Vegas queen, when Aces woke up, her right-hand maid was gone. What had happened? Sydney Colson, the two-time champion with the Aces, was more than simply a colleague. She was her confidant, her co-conspirator, and the unifying force in the locker room. However, Colson began to see beyond the glitz and glamour of Las Vegas.
She's the face of the league, self-appointed face of the league, but also just in entertainment and all of these things. She has done and achieved so many things and continues to find amazing places in the WNBA, including with the Indiana Fever right now. And I'm just really, listen, what other moves they gonna make? Because I love this one too. And just great move after great move after great move. And
let's discuss Colson's journey with the Aces. Her numbers from the previous season may not be very noteworthy. 2.5 points, 1 assist, and 8 minutes per game. But her influence was significant. Beyond her stats, she was the defensive specialist, the clutch player who came through when it counted most. For example, during the WNBA Finals 2 years ago, Colson was there, making those clutch plays that don't always make the highlight reels. The twist is that Colson wasn't just any player on the court. She was the lifeblood of the Aces locker room, the one who kept everyone laughing, the one who provided energy when things got tough, the secret weapon that every championship team needs, the player who improves everyone else simply by being there.
I'm excited for Sydney Colson, and I'm excited for the Indiana Fever because they have an amazing player who is also very hilarious, like one of the funniest people in the league. So really excited to see this.
Said, imagine the content between Sydney and Caitlin. It's going to be comedy.
Content for days. I know the Indiana Fever front office is just celebrating because that is a part of it too, is content and having players that are going to be good at that. So come on, Sydney.
Let's go on to the Indiana Fever. Are you prepared for this? They have been acting as a team and have something to prove. Check out Dananna Boner, Natasha Howard. You bet Sophie Cunningham, yes, and Sydney Colson. Now they seem to be assembling a powerhouse team in front of us.
What do you mean Sydney Colson is joining the Indiana Fever? What does that mean? Indiana is just being so right now. They took DB, they took Natasha. Now they got Sydney Colson. Like, why would they take Sydney from us? Why would they take Sydney from us? What the we ever do to Indiana? Except beat them. But like, what the we ever do to Indiana?
However, the biggest concern in the basketball world is why Colson would leave a championship team. Fans are going crazy. Fever fans are pinching themselves to make sure they're not dreaming, while Aces supporters are in shock.
I'm really trying here not to crash out, okay? I can't can't take too much more. I just said the other day, what did I say? Another bomb is Sunday. I said, this isn't it. You know, I can't wait to see what the next bomb will be. Didn't know this would be the bomb. Stephanie White ain't playing fair. I have to say it again. Stephanie White is not playing fair. She on one.
This is the reality. Wilson took a minute to process the fact that Colson had selected Caitlin Clark over Asia. The player Asia referred to as her favorite teammate, her right-hand lady, had just packed her bags and left for Indiana. It's a whole new era, not just a new squad.
I believe that Amber Cox and Stephanie White, they were probably scouring the free agency market, and they were like, you know what? We do need to protect our locker room. We need to be able to bring in someone who can be a really good fit, someone who can really help to put these younger players at ease. And also, we need somebody to be able to play some lockdown defense off the bench. And that is it. Sydney Colson is vibes and defense. That's why she's on this team.
However, this move isn't just about basketball. It's also about culture and creating something unique. The Fever are getting more than just a reliable backup guard for Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. They're also getting a locker room leader, a defensive specialist, and someone who understands what it takes to win championships. Wilson, on the other hand, isn't taking this lying down. Her fans are going crazy. But what makes Colson so special? Let's take a moment to discuss Sydney Colson. You may be wondering why there is so much talk about a backup guard. Colson is a defensive dynamo with court vision that would make an Eagle envy and a silky three-point shooter. She is not your average bench player. Imagine those abilities combined with Caitlin Clark, or imagine Colson taking over when Clark needs a break.
Sydney Colson is a two-time WNBA champion, a true vet, an amazing backup point guard. And anytime that CC or any of the guards need to go to the bench, I mean, Sydney Colson always makes the right call, always makes the right decision. So to pick up a vet, a professional like Sydney Colson, and then you also have a vet like DeWanna Bonner, and you also have a vet like Kelsey Mitchell, and then you have CC and Aaliyah Boston and Lex.
Let's break it down. Colson won't light up the scoreboard every night, but that's not why the Fever brought her in. They already had plenty of firepower, so they needed a secret weapon, someone who could lock down opponents, make the right play, and make clutch shots when it counts most. But wait, there's more. Colson brings something to the table that you can't measure with statistics: leadership. She's been there, done that, and has the championship ring to prove it. 2 of them, to be exact. Winning mentality is contagious, and for a young team like the Fever, it could be the spark that ignites a championship run.
I hope that some of y'all, if y'all are not familiar with Sydney Colson, I hope y'all, watch some highlights of her, because don't just be like, oh, Sydney Colson, she barely scored last year, she's not good for the Indiana Fever. No, she is. Don't worry.
Consider it. Sydney Colson is the ideal mentor for Clark and Mitchell, teaching them the ropes and keeping them steady under pressure. The Fever's backcourt is full of talent, but they were lacking that seasoned presence, someone who has been through the wars and knows what it takes to win at the highest level.
Caitlin Clark actually spoke on this on Sunday, and she had this to say, quote, "I'm excited. Obviously, we made some great moves. I think Kelly and Amber and the whole Fever organization are helping us to win now, and I think that's really important. I think they're putting really good pieces together that are going to complement each other really, really well." And then she continued talking about Steph, their new head coach, and said that Steph taking over as head coach for us, I think, is going to be really great. A great basketball mind, someone that actually called quite a few of my college games. So being able to build that relationship with her and just be in the gym and work on things that she probably saw when I was a freshman in college.
In a league where chemistry can make or break a season, Colson's influence extends beyond what occurs on the court. She is renowned for being a locker room MVP, the type of player who keeps spirits high during difficult times and brings the team together when things get tough. And let's not forget about those clutch moments. Colson is the type of player you want supporting your stars because she has experience making clutch plays in crucial playoff games when the stakes are highest and the pressure is at its highest.
We knew that Caitlin Clark was this phenomenal talent, but she was entering a league that she was not familiar with. She was a rookie. The Indiana Fever have been actively building and rebuilding their organization and this team, and they have a lot of incredible pieces. But the fact that they were able to get into the playoffs and be a team that, although they didn't, advance far in the playoffs, they were a team that we kept saying, if you face them, they're gonna make it difficult for you. That organization then saw that and said, we are capitalizing on this and we're doing it now.
Therefore, don't overlook Sydney Colson while everyone is talking about the big names and the gaudy additions. She may be the most underappreciated component of Indiana's championship puzzle. Fever isn't just building a team, they're creating a winning culture in addition to having excellent offense and defense, and Colson is a big part of that. She's the steady hand that leads this young squad through the highs and lows of a WNBA season. They didn't just sign a player, they acquired a winner, a leader, and a secret weapon all rolled into one. Are you beginning to see the bigger picture here?
What Steph White is doing and what the Fever organization is doing is nothing less than phenomenal, in my opinion. They are taking this young, talented core that they have, with Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark, and they're adding veteran players that Stephanie White has already worked with. Let's talk about that too, and has chemistry with and knows the work ethic of. And they are building this super team, make no mistake about it, that is going to give you instant results.
Imagine this. Late in the fourth quarter of a close game, the crowd is standing, the pressure is building, and Sydney Colson is cool as a cucumber, making a game-changing defensive play or a clutch three. At this point, it's going to get really exciting because Colson isn't just there to support the stars. She's here to elevate them. Her experience, basketball IQ, and winning mentality will all have an impact on players like Clark and Mitchell. She's not just filling a role, she's multiplying.
This season, the Fever is gonna run amok this year. You got DeWanna Bonner. Oh my God. They took Sid. And some of y'all really don't feel like Sid was that valuable. Sid, so valuable. To not see Asia, Sid, Chelsea Gray, KP, and Jackie Young together.
Let's take a moment to discuss the Ace Empire. People, do you recall when they were untouchable? That facade is beginning to crumble, and it's all due to one player's choice to leave the game. Wilson supporters are going completely crazy, and it's not only because they lost. One fan brilliantly summed up Sydney Colson's exit by saying, "This just hurt my feelings." Another fan went even farther and said, "Guys, it's over. Just give Fever the title." Talk about dramatic. You could just feel the irritation emanating from Las Vegas. Losing an important component of their championship culture is more significant than simply losing a player.
I need somebody to investigate Indiana. I need Indiana investigated. Unfortunately for Indiana, I will be praying on their downfall. I will be praying for them to lose every single game. I just can't. I just can't.
They're blaming the Fever front office for creating a so-called super team in Indiana. To start, it's the front office's responsibility to assemble the best team possible. If they're good, it's not their fault. Secondly, nobody voiced any complaints when the Aces assembled a roster that included 6 Olympians.
What is painfully clear, and what I've talked about in my other videos, is that the league, the Fever organization are doing everything they should do to make sure their star is happy and that their star gets a ring. I didn't know they were going to load up like this, though. DeWanna Bonner, Sydney Colson, just re-signed Kelsey Mitchell. You already have Aaliyah Boston. You have Caitlin. You have Lexi.
Imagine the powerful Aces, who have won consecutive crowns, suddenly appearing fragile. Let's break it down. The WNBA landscape is being rocked by the aftershocks of Colson's departure, which is more than just a foundational crack. In addition to losing Son, They also bid farewell to Kelsey Plum, a crucial player in their championship runs. It's like watching a championship puzzle come apart piece by piece, while in Indiana, the Fever is riding a wave of excitement that could turn into a tsunami. Kate Martin, their star rookie, has left, along with 2 assistant coaches and even their general manager. Even though Caitlin Clark's coming was previously well reported, it feels like they've stoked a fire with more fuel. In addition to being an improvement over the 5-win club from 2 seasons ago, pundits have now ranked them in the top 3 in the league, with some even forecasting that they will win a title this year. This is a radical change in the WNBA power structure.
You know, they were so close. They made the postseason, I should say, for the first time in a long time. But this is going to catapult them to what I see as being in the finals, if not winning the whole thing. If you look at them.
Additionally, the Fever are winning not just on paper, but also in the hearts and minds of supporters nationwide. Media coverage and ticket sales are skyrocketing, and jersey sales are off the charts. Let's just say that Caitlin Clark and her new super team are making headlines. Are you prepared for this? We may be seeing a change of power in the WNBA as the Aces, the undisputed queens of the court, start to look over their shoulders. Who is it that is catching up to them? It's the Indiana Fever, led by the unstoppable Caitlin Clark.
They are giving their star, Caitlin Clark, all the pieces she needs to be successful. And you have to clap for that, because this is what you do when you have superstar talent. You build a superstar team. And this is what the Indiana Fever have done.
What does this mean for the forthcoming season, basketball fans? Hold on tight, because we're in for a wild ride. The team has gone from being the underdog to serious title contenders in less time than you can say buzzer beater. They have the talent, the momentum, and now they have the experience with players like Kusun joining the ranks and the Aces. The feeling of invincibility has completely vanished. Not only is Caitlin Clark's star power affecting the WNBA, but it's also changing the league's entire landscape. She is a player who has the ability to change the league's power dynamics on her own, and now she has a winning squad surrounding her.
Can't falter. That's what good coaches do. She is on one, man. She came in and said, I got some things I need to do, and I'm going to get them done. And I'm going to build around Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell. And I know, you got to give props and props to do. Y'all, the Fever go run some stuff this year.
Imagine this as a Fever team with Clark at the center. The basket being attacked by Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and Natasha Howard controlling the paint. After Dananna Boner locks down the top player for the opposition, Sophie Cunningham comes next. We've seen Sydney Colson and Lexi Hull light up the court, but the secret to the Fever's success is the chemistry between the team and themselves. They're not just a team that's a nightmare for opponents, and the best part is that they're built to win now and in the future. But now for the big question: how will all these new pieces fit together? Basketball experts are taking notice and predicting that this combination of new talent and seasoned pros could be the perfect recipe for a deep playoff push. They may want to watch their backs, so here's the million-dollar question. Are you ready to see David take on Goliath? This season, we might just witness a changing of the guard in the WNBA. Who are you rooting for in this epic showdown? Let us know in the comments, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss it. We'll see you in the next one after you click the video on the screen.